Hello and welcome to my very first YouTube video, which I'm super excited about. This is going to be a tutorial on my tortoise shell inspired nail art. So if you're interested, then please keep on watching. In this video, I'm just going to be working on my thumb, but obviously you still get to see the finished result on my whole hand. And this is all done using my non-dominant hand because I'm right-handed and I'm working with my left hand. This is a quick snap of what my nails looked like before I started doing this new set. So let's get into it. So step one for me is always to take a cotton pad and soak it with isopropyl alcohol. I use this to cleanse the surface of my nails, and it just makes sure that I'm working in a sanitized environment before going in with any of my tools. So this is a standard Boomerang 100-180 grit file, and I'm starting off with the 100 grit side to debulk the entire nail. It's a glitter encapsulated nail, so I need to get rid of the majority of the top surface so that I can see exactly what's going on under the glitter at the base layer of gel. So now that I've done that, you can see the bulk of the nail has been removed, there's no sign of any glitter, and it means that I can see exactly what's been going on that base layer. So on the right hand side towards the edge, you can see that there's a little bit of lifting on this side, but when I flip it over to the opposite side of the nail, there's quite a large amount of lifting. I am right-handed, so these are done with my non-dominant hand, and I do tend to get lifting, if anywhere, on my right hand. And this is me just showing off the cat eye effect that I have on the left hand. So due to the fact that it's quite a significant amount of lifting that I have on the left hand side, going in with the cuticle nippers, and I'm going to just pinch that away by going very gently and carefully under the gel that's lifted, giving a little pinch, and it just comes away very easily. And I'm doing that carefully on the other side again before I go back in with my file to try to smooth out any of the last bits of lifting. I did actually decide that I wasn't 100% happy with the shape of this nail, so I decided to remove the tip of the extension, and by doing this, it means that I can use it as an opportunity to show you how I build out a quick extension. So I'm filing that down to the natural nail length. I'm going to give it a cleanse, go back in with my file very quickly, making sure once again that everything is nice and smooth, and prepping the natural nail that has grown out underneath and towards the bottom of the nail. So once I'm finished with that, I'm going in with my cuticle pusher. This is by Elegant Touch and is quite cheap, just from Superdrug. I use this to push back the cuticles, and I use the opposite end to gently scrape out any of the dead tissue that has built up during the couple of weeks that I've been wearing these nails. So due to the fact that I experienced a lot of lifting on this finger in particular, I chose to go in with my electric gel on a very low setting just to ensure that I'd gotten all the last few bits of dead skin and dust and everything out of the cuticle area of that nail. So this is a great step before going in with my cuticle nippers. I'm very careful with these, and as you can see, I use my finger to pull back the skin on the thumb just to make sure that I'm only taking away dead tissue and nothing living. If you do pinch the living skin, it is gonna hurt, and most likely it's gonna bleed. So when I go in with the acetone on my cotton pad, it burns. Luckily not for me this time because I was very careful, but if you're not careful, ow. So I've placed my form, and of course I didn't press record, even though I fiddled under the camera for a while, but these are the ASP forms, and I buy these from Sally's. They're surprisingly cheap but extremely sticky, and they're my favourite at the moment, and I've been using them for a couple of months now. And once I've got that applied, I go in with my dehydrator to make sure that there's no natural oils on the nail that will stop my gel from sticking. So I've been using the Magpie Build Me Up gels for the last couple of months, and I'm absolutely in love, and I don't use anything else. So I'm going in with a really thin layer of Cloud, and the reason I chose that was because I did have some gel left on my thumb, and it was a slightly light pink colour, and I thought this would just help to blend that into the natural nail, kind of cover it a little bit. What I do is I'm measuring my thumb off the other hand that I have done previously, and I go in with the gel figure out whereabouts on the form the length is before giving a quick flash cure while applying small bits of gel at a time. This means that I can put it in the right places, give it a cure, and it's not going to move anywhere while I fiddle in other areas. So obviously I'm trying to create a coffin shape, and I've decided to use the cloud towards the edge of the nail because I grow out my natural nails and this just happens to be one that has broken, and I want to give the fake effect that it is my natural nail so that from underneath it's got that kind of whitish look and it just looks like a natural nail. So what I do is I'm going in to try to create the base shape prior to applying the clear gel that will make the strength and structure of this nail. And of course I am working on my non-dominant hand, so at times my gel application can be a little bit messy, and I do struggle with the coffin shape, but I was determined to get there this time. So once I'm finally happy with the base shape that I have, I cleanse the nail again to get rid of all the dust prior to going back in with my Magpie Build Me Up gel, this time in the shade Clear. And I just create a slip layer prior to adding the majority of the bulk towards the back of the nail where I want my apex to be, and I just gently drag the gel into the right places. When I'm happy with where everything is, I go back with my boomerang file again to make sure that everything is shaped exactly the way I want it. I then sanitize the nail again, and I'll go over with my buffing block to make sure that there's no visible lines of where I have used the file. This makes sure to get a really smooth polish application when I'm ready to move on to that step. So for my tortoise shell nails, you need a glass yellow polish. I also like to use a dab of gold. You will also need a chocolatey brown colour and a black. In this case I actually don't have a chocolate brown polish, so I've made my own by mixing a large amount of orange with a small amount of blue because they're on the opposite spectrums of the colour wheel. And once I'm finished making that colour, I mix it with some of the glass yellow, and this makes the perfect sheer caramel colour, which is imperative to the tortoise shell style nails. Once I'm finished with that and I've found the perfect colour, I apply 2 thin layers to the finger, and I don't cure the second coat because what you want to do is go in with your brown colour and just gently mush a little bit of it into the background and into the caramel colour. Doesn't need to be perfect, just so that there's a little bit of depth. Once you're happy with that, give it a cure and then go back in with a finer brush and add some brown blobs, and that's basically all that they are, anywhere that you want on the nail. And I add a tiny little bit of black into the centre just to again give a little bit more depth. I just mix that together. In an ideal world you would have a proper chocolate brown colour, but this is just one way that you can do it. And the second aspect of this is curing that and then going in with the black and putting blobs over the brown ever so slightly so that they're overlapping. Again, this adds to the depth, and this doesn't need to be neat, it can be anywhere. And my final step is to add little dabs of gold as well. There's no other way to describe them other than blobs and dabs because that's what they are. You want them to be irregular shaped, you don't want to think about it very much. I find that really hard. I'm normally quite precise, but when I'm doing this particular style, I just let my hand do the work, and if there's any little mistakes and stuff, just leave it because again, tortoise shell isn't perfect, it just adds to the effect. So the last step is to add one final layer of the sheer caramel colour. Again, I don't want to keep repeating myself, but tortoiseshell nails are all about depth, and that's what this does, it just adds that. And then I'm going in with my top coat, and I like to do 2 layers of this just to give it that extra shine and to smooth out any little bumps that have come up while you're adding the dots of black, gold and brown. Lather up with some cuticle oil, give that a good rub in to bring back moisture after all of the acetone and sanitizer that we've used. And that's it, that is the tortoise shell nails complete. Off camera I've completed the other 4 nails so you can see the full set, and I'm pretty happy with them. There's lots of different ways to do tortoise shell nails, and this is just the way that I like to do them. So thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.